Hi guys, so today is the third class for covering ethics and we are starting with the third unit which starts from aptitude and foundational values of civil service. So let us start the meaning of aptitude. So aptitude, it is a natural ability or potential of a person to learn, develop skills and perform a particular task effectively. For a civil servant, aptitude includes analytical ability, decision making, problem solving, communication, leadership and emotional intelligence. So these all values are required in a civil servant. Why they are important for a civil service? Why these values are important? So it helps in solving public problem efficiently, it enables quick and sound decision making, it improves administrative effectiveness. That's why they are needed in a civil service. Now let us continue with foundational values for civil service. What are the main values that are required in a civil servant? First is integrity. So integrity mean being honest, being truthful and being morally upright even when no one is watching. So it's not only when someone is watching and we are under surveillance. It's about when there is no one in front of us, and it's in our behavior, it's in our action and it's in our moral values to be honest. Example, a civil servant refusing a bribe despite pressure. Next is impartiality and non-partisanship. Impartiality means treating all people fairly and equally without discrimination based on caste, religion, gender, or political belief. Example, providing government benefits equally to all citizens despite any discrimination. Then we have non-partisanship. Non-partisanship means remaining politically neutral while performing official duties and not favoring any political party. So it means not being politically involved with anyone and just be transparent and honest with each and every political party. Example, conducting election fairly regardless of which party is contesting. It doesn't matter who is there in the party. You just have to be very transparent, very unbiased. Next is objectivity. Objectivity means making decision based on facts, evidence and rules rather than personal feelings or biases. Example, selecting candidates for a government job purely on merit. Because many a time it happens that we do a little favor to our knowns, or we make the process very easy for them. So objectivity means making decision only on facts, evidence and rules. Then dedication to public service. A strong commitment to serving the public honestly, efficiently and selflessly. Example, working during floods or disaster to provide relief to affected people. So this is a quality required for a civil servant, that before thinking of himself, he should think for the society. Next we have empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings and difficulties of others. Example, understanding the problem of poor farmers before framing policies. Next, we have tolerance. Tolerance is respecting and accepting different culture, religions, opinions and lifestyles even when they differ from one's own. It does not only include that we are respecting our own religion, but all the religion that are there in a society. Example, respecting the customs and beliefs of all communities. Next, we have compassion towards weaker section. So this quality should be there in every public servant. It means showing kindness, concern and a willingness to help people who are poor, vulnerable or disadvantaged, such as women, children, elderly person with disabilities and economically weaker sections. Example, implementing welfare scheme effectively for the poor and marginalized. These values ensure ethical governance, public trust and effective delivery of services, leading to good governance and national development. So with this we cover our unit third. It's too short, so I thought to cover one more unit with it, that is emotional intelligence concepts and their utilities and application in administration and governance. So application. So emotional intelligence, the meaning, let us understand the meaning. Emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize, understand, manage and control one's own emotion as well as understand and influence the emotion of others. So not only about recognizing our own emotion or managing our own emotions, also recognizing and understanding the emotion of others. So what are the components of emotional intelligence? First is self-awareness. To understand one's own emotion, strength and weakness. Self-regulation, controlling emotions and behaving calmly in difficult situations. Then we have motivation, staying committed to goals with optimism and perseverance. Then we have empathy, understanding the feelings and perspective of others. Then we have social skills, building positive relationships, communicating effectively and resolving conflicts. So these all components are required for emotional intelligence. Next we have utilities of emotional intelligence. Utilities means importance. What is the importance of emotional intelligence? See, if we understand others, if we able to manage their emotions, if we able to understand their emotions, then we can then our decision making power will be improved. By balancing emotions with logic, we can make proper decisions. And next we can enhance communication and interpersonal relationship by knowing their emotions, by understanding their emotions. We can also build trust and teamwork. It also increases leadership effectiveness, and it helps in conflict resolution and negotiation. So this is the importance of emotional intelligence. Next is application of emotional intelligence in administration and governance. So it helps in better public service. If we know the emotions of others, even if we can easily understand their emotion, we can deliver better public service. Effective decision making. It also helps in decision making, as we have already discussed earlier. It also help in conflict resolution, leadership and team management, disaster and crisis management. In disaster and crisis management, it helps as a civil servant when he is emotionally intelligent. So he know how to handle the situation, he know how to calm people and how to reassure them. So like this, it helps in disaster and crisis management. Example, a district collector patiently listening to the grievances of flood victims and ensuring timely relief. Or a police officer handling a public protest calmly without unnecessary use of force. So these are the example of emotional intelligence. Now many people confuse between emotional intelligence and IQ. IQ is intelligence quotient. So let us understand the difference between them quickly. It is emotional intelligence. So emotional intelligence and intelligence quotient. So emotional intelligence is a person's ability to understand and manage their own emotion as well as emotion of others, whereas IQ is about cognitive intelligence, which means person's cognitive abilities such as problem solving, reasoning and abstract thinking. So let's see the difference. In EQ we measure emotional abilities, whereas in IQ we measure intellectual ability. EQ focus on emotions and empathy, whereas IQ focus on logic and reasoning. EQ is important for leadership and teamwork, whereas IQ is important for academic and technical issue. IQ is important when we prepare for UPSC or when we prepare for any exam. But EQ is important when we deliver the service, when we get into the service. So this is all about today. Now let us see the topics that we have covered. So we have covered the aptitude and foundational values of civil service. Integrity we have covered. What is integrity? It means honesty. Impartiality means without any bias. Non-partisanship is also same. Objectivity, dedication to public service, empathy, tolerance and compassion towards the weaker section. This all we have covered. As well as we have covered the emotional intelligence concepts and their utilities. Utilities are importance of emotional intelligence. Application in administration and governance, as well as we have also covered the difference between EQ and IQ, in which most people get confused. So with this we covered our third and fourth unit. Now from tomorrow we will start contribution of moral thinkers and philosophers from India and world. I hope you guys are understanding the content and understanding what I am trying to teach. And if there is any doubt or any query, you can just message me and I'll do the needful. So with this we wind up our today's class. Let us meet tomorrow with a new unit, and thank you so much guys. All the best.